Breaking news from the North American Auto Corridor. Since January 2025, trade tensions between Washington and Ottawa have shifted from words to real-world damage. Billions lost in tourism, shrinking factory output, and border towns struggling to stay afloat. Now, all eyes turn to October 7th, when Prime Minister Mark Carney meets President Donald Trump in Washington for what could be the most consequential US-Canada summit in years. This is more than a tariff fight. It's about the very engine of North America's economy: cars, jobs, and supply chains. The fastest way to feel geopolitics is at the cash register. In 2024, Canadians made nearly 20 million trips across the US border, spending over $20 billion and supporting about 140,000 American jobs. But after a wave of new tariffs and rhetoric about Canada becoming the 51st state, 2025 flipped the script. Many Canadians simply stopped going south. Border states reported tourism plunges of 30 to 34%, the steepest drop in more than a decade. From New Hampshire's ski resorts to Maine's beaches, hotel managers describe silent weekends and shuttered souvenir shops. Duty-free sales have collapsed, and US alcohol exports to Canada have fallen sharply. Economists warn that a sustained 30% loss in Canadian visitors could erase tens of thousands of seasonal jobs. To recover, state leaders are launching bienvenue campaigns and offering travel discounts to woo Canadians back. Politics may roar, but local economies know their northern neighbors remain essential. If tourism shows the public pain, autos show the industrial shock. The Detroit-Windsor corridor is the beating heart of North American car making. Every vehicle built here crosses the border 7 to 8 times before reaching a showroom. When tariffs on Canadian parts rose to 25%, that choreography began to collapse. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer estimated duties on auto goods surged into the tens of billions of dollars in a single season. Car makers responded by stockpiling parts, delaying plant expansions, trimming bonuses, and warning of $2,500 price hikes per vehicle. Suppliers faced brutal options: absorb the cost, pass it along, or halt investment. The paradox: tariffs meant to protect US jobs are now threatening them. Canada supplies the steel, aluminum, and precision parts that keep American assembly lines alive. Disrupt that flow, and both sides lose. As North America builds its EV backbone, from Ontario's battery hubs to Tennessee's gigafactories, any fracture could hand rivals like China a decisive advantage. Before we shift gears, take a second to like, subscribe, and share this report. Policy clashes eventually meet human reality. That's why governors and mayors across the border are now doing personal diplomacy. Louisiana's Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser led a mission to Toronto and Montreal to reassure Canadian travelers that his state still welcomes them. Maine has ramped up French-language outreach. New Hampshire leaders crossed north to restore confidence before the winter tourism season. Politics aside, one Maine shop owner said, "We can't afford another empty summer." Yet many Canadians remain cautious, waiting to see whether Washington's tone cools and visa processing improves. The goodwill gestures matter, but the real fix lies in federal hands, when Prime Minister Carney steps into the White House to meet President Trump. The agenda: ease tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos, and prepare for the first-ever USMCA review. Ottawa has already paused some retaliatory duties and postponed its planned digital services tax to create breathing room. Behind the scenes, negotiators are exploring sector-specific carve-outs, relief for auto parts and metals without undermining national leverage. Both leaders need a win. Trump wants to show voters he's defending American industry. Carney wants to protect Canadian manufacturing while keeping US ties stable. Even a modest breakthrough, like a joint working group on EV batteries and critical minerals, could steady markets and calm investors ahead of 2026. Beyond the summit lies a bigger question: will North America unite to compete or keep fighting itself? The Great Lakes Ontario corridor has attracted over $70 billion in new EV and battery investment from GM, Ford, Stellantis, LG Energy, and Honda. Canada brings clean power and mineral resources, The US contributes R&D and consumer scale. Mexico provides flexible production. Break that chain, and Europe or China wins. Experts warn that repeating Europe's mistake, letting subsidized imports hollow out domestic manufacturing, could cost hundreds of thousands of jobs. Instead, a minerals-to-motors compact could align all three nations, source locally, process regionally, assemble competitively. That would protect workers, stabilize prices, and future-proof supply chains. Here's the bottom line. The tariffs designed to shield US industry are straining the very alliance that built it. The Canadian boycott hurts border towns today. The auto parts bottleneck threatens the EV future tomorrow. The Carney-Trump meeting isn't a photo op, it's a pressure valve. Get it right, and North America accelerates together. Get it wrong, and we risk higher car prices, shuttered plants, and fractured markets. A narrow landing zone exists. Targeted tariff relief, shared critical mineral strategy, and a tone of cooperation that welcomes Canadians back without politics. North America can compete with the world, or compete with itself. The next few weeks will decide which road it takes. What do you think? Should Ottawa and Washington strike selective tariff deals to keep the auto engine running? Can a united EV strategy really hold off China's dominance? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget, the best comment gets pinned.